Welcome to this session on adjudications related to economic laws in India. Let's begin by understanding adjudication mechanisms in economic laws. Their primary purpose is to address disputes and violations under India's economic statutes. Adjudication here involves both civil and criminal mechanisms, which vary depending on the specific law and the nature of the offense. Now let's look at the initial stages of adjudication under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, or PMLA. Action under PMLA starts when a scheduled offense is committed. Following this, the Enforcement Directorate, or ED, can provisionally attach property. An ED officer, at the level of deputy director or above, must have a written belief, based on material, that a person holds proceeds of crime and might conceal or transfer them. This provisional attachment can last for 180 days, and a report must go to the adjudicating authority within 30 days. Upon receiving the ED's complaint, the adjudicating authority issues a notice, giving at least 30 days, to the person holding the property and other interested parties. The authority then reviews all facts and evidence to determine if the property is indeed linked to money laundering. If confirmed, the attachment continues, and the ED immediately takes possession of the property, moving to the later stages of PMLA adjudication, criminal prosecution. The offense of money laundering is considered a continuing activity, meaning it persists as long as the proceeds of crime are enjoyed. ED officers can file prosecution complaints in a special court. It's important to note that a PMLA trial cannot conclude before the decision in the original scheduled or predicate offense, as that's the foundation for the PMLA case. Regarding confiscation, if the special court finds that money laundering has occurred, it orders confiscation, and the property then belongs to the central government. If it's found not to be linked to money laundering, the property is released. PMLA matters are tried by special courts, typically sessions courts designated for this purpose. These special courts take cognizance of an offense only if a complaint is made by specific authorized authorities. A key feature of PMLA is the burden of proof, which is placed on the accused. If an allegation of money laundering is made, the accused must prove they haven't committed the offense or that their assets are not tainted. The Supreme Court has affirmed this position, and courts have consistently held that placing this burden on the accused does not violate fundamental rights. Let's discuss the powers of the ED under PMLA. Under Section 19, high-ranking ED officers can make arrests, provided they have material and recorded reasons, and special director's approval. While the grounds of arrest must be informed, a copy of the ECIR, or Enforcement Case Information Report, is not required to be given to the accused. Under Section 50, ED officers can summon individuals and record their statements under oath. Unlike general police statements, these statements have significant evidentiary value in court. Courts have ruled that this does not violate the right against self-incrimination. Despite the stringent nature of PMLA, several safeguards exist for the accused. Arrests are restricted to high-ranking officers and require specific approval. Incriminating material and recorded reasons are mandatory for an arrest. These reasons are also sent to a neutral adjudicating authority in a sealed envelope. The accused must be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours, excluding transit time. While bail conditions are generally stringent, they are possible for certain categories such as individuals under 16, those with infirmities, women, or for cases involving proceeds of crime less than 1 crore. Now let's shift focus to the Benami Transactions adjudication process. It begins when an initiating officer, at the level of deputy commissioner, suspects a Benami transaction. They can then issue a notice to both the beneficiar and the beneficial owner and provisionally attach the property for 90 days. This initiating officer must secure approval for the attachment from the approving authority, who is an additional commissioner, and then refer the case to the adjudicating authority in Delhi within 15 days of confirming the provisional attachment. Once the case is with the adjudicating authority, they issue a notice, again with at least 30 days, to all involved parties, including the beneficiar, beneficial owner, and any other interested parties. The authority considers all facts, replies, and conducts inquiries to pass an order within 1 year, either confirming or revoking the attachment. If the attachment is confirmed and there's no appeal from the other side, a confiscation order is passed under Section 27. The property then becomes the central government's without compensation, and an administrator, typically from the income tax department, manages it, the consequences of confirmed Benami transactions are significant. Civil consequences include confiscation of property without compensation, a prohibition on the benamitor retransferring the property, and a prohibition on the right to recover any property held as Benami. Criminal penalties include imprisonment from 1 to 7 years of rigorous imprisonment, along with a fine of up to 25% of the property's value. A crucial impact came from a Supreme Court ruling in August 2022. It determined that the 2016 Amendment Act, including its punitive provisions like confiscation and prosecution, applies only prospectively from November 1, 2016. This means all prosecutions and confiscation proceedings for transactions prior to this date were quashed. Moving on to FEMA, or the Foreign Exchange Management Act, disputes. Unlike PMLA, FEMA-related contraventions are civil in nature, not criminal. Disputes are initially handled by an adjudicating authority, usually an officer within the Directorate of Enforcement, who investigates and decides on the contravention. The appeals process for FEMA is structured. If parties are not satisfied with the adjudicating authority's order, they can appeal to the Special Director, Appeals. Further appeals go to the Appellate Tribunal for FEMA. From there, appeals can be made to the High Court and, subsequently, the Supreme Court, following the general legal hierarchy. It's worth noting the RBI's role under FEMA. It acts more as a facilitator for the foreign exchange market, promoting its development, rather than the strict regulator it was under the earlier FARA. Finally, let's touch upon COFEPOSA, the Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act. This is primarily a preventive detention law, meaning its procedures are non-trial in nature. It doesn't involve a traditional court trial leading to a conviction. Detention orders under COFEPOSA are based on the executive satisfaction of the government or an authorized officer, rather than a judicial inquiry. Detainees do have the right to make representations to an advisory board, and the government is bound to periodically review each detention order. A key distinction from criminal law like PMLA is that COFEPOSA does not require a prior conviction to detain an individual. It works alongside criminal law enforcement, but focuses on preventing future unlawful activities. Thank you for joining this overview of adjudications in economic laws.